All right, so this is a Unit 5 Part 2 test review. And these are the answers. So hopefully you've worked them out and you're just checking them over, or you're stuck and you need some help. So in number 1, I see that this equation, y equals negative 1/5 x plus 2. That is in slope-intercept form. So you have y equals mx plus b. Well, your slope is negative 1/5, that's the m, and your b is a positive 2. We start with the b. Oh man, what did I just do? It's all right. Start with the b. This is your starting point. So positive 2. So we're going to go on the y-intercept up 2. So up 2, and I'm just going on each graph. Up 2. From the origin, I'm going up 2, and from the origin where the x and y intercepts axis cross, I go up 2. So I can't eliminate any of these answer choices at this point. So now I'm going to look at the slope. Slope is the m. That is negative 1/5. When you say negative 1/5, you put the negative on the 1, so negative 1/5. So this is, we're going to use, when we're using slope on a graph, you are going to use rise over run. Rise meaning up and down. Up is positive, down is negative. Run is left and right. Right, left. Right is positive, left is negative. So if our numerator is positive, we will go up. But in this case, our numerator is negative, negative 1. So from my starting point on each one, the y-intercept, I'm going to go down 1 and right 5. Now that next point is not on this line, so that is not an answer choice. On B, I'm going to go down 1 and right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, cool, it's on the line, so that's probably an answer choice. I'm going to go to C and do the same thing. Down 1, right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that is not on the line, that new point, so no. And the last one, down 1, right 5, certainly not. So B is your answer choice. For number 2, this is set up into y equals, or x minus y equals 3. This is set up in, so then you can work out x and y intercepts. To find your x-intercept, you are setting the y equal to 0. So you're going to make it 0. So it's really x minus 0 equals 3. So your x-intercept is 3. To then rework this, we're going to get, or to work it again, to find your y-intercept, you have to set the x equal to 0. So the x becomes 0, and we get negative y equals 3. Well, that's not as simple as the x-intercept where it was just x equals 3. There's this negative on the y. We need to move that. We need to change that, move it to the other side of the equal sign. So really you can look at it as like a negative 1 times y. So we're going to divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. And we get y to equal 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. So our x-intercept is 3, and our y-intercept is negative 3. All right, so let's look at A. So an x-intercept, so on the x-axis, go to the right 3. Well, that is not on the graph, so that is not right. And the y-intercept would be negative 3. So we're looking for 2 points that look like that, not A. So right 3, that's an x-intercept of 3, but the y-intercept has got to be down here at negative 3. That's not right. So x-intercept of 3, awesome. Y-intercept going down 1, 2, 3, and that is also lies, that point also lies on the line, so that is most likely our answer. And to the right 3, no, so D is not an answer, so it's just C. All right, so we're going to do the same type of thing for number 3, because each one of these answer choices have the x and y on the same side of the equal sign. When they do, it is easiest to find your x and y intercept. So I'm going to do this. X plus 2y, so this is A, is negative 2. I'm going to find the x-intercept by setting the y equal to 0, so that's 2 times 0. So it's really like you're covering up. So it's really like you're covering up the y term when you set it equal to 0. When you do that, you're going to get x is going to equal negative 2. Now for the y-intercept, we need to set x equal to 0. So that's like eliminating the x term, and we have a positive 2y, a plus, so that's positive 2y equals negative 2, and we have to solve that little equation we solved in middle school. So the y-intercept is negative 1, the x-intercept is negative 2. So I'm going to go on the x-axis first for negative 2. Awesome. And the y-intercept for on the y-axis, so I'm going to start at 0, 0. I'm going to go down 1, so negative 1. That looks like it lines up awesome. Great. So that's our answer choice. You can work through the others, but that A is the answer there. But the others you're going to work through the exact same way. For number 4, it's the exact same thing. All of these answer choices have the x and y on the same side. So that is easiest to work through finding your x and y intercepts. So 4x plus 3y equals 6. To find your x-intercept, we set the y equal to 0. So eliminating the y term. So we're actually going to get 4x equals 6 divided by 4. 6 divided by 4, put that in the calculator, is 1.5. So that's an x-intercept of 1.5. That is not on our graph, so that is not an answer choice. You can work through the y-intercept if you'd like, but we already know can eliminate from the x-intercept. Isn't correct. All right, next equation. So B. I need to find the x-intercept. So to find the x-intercept, we're going to set the y equal to 0, so it's going to eliminate the y term. So it's 4x equals negative 6 divided by 4. We get x equals negative 1.5. Negative 1.5. Not going to happen. That ain't it either. That is not it. All right, next problem. C, 3x plus 4y equals 8. We're going to find the x-intercept. So set the y equal to 0, so we're eliminating the y term. So it'll be 3x equals 8 divided by 3, and x is going to equal 2.6 repeating. X is 2.6 repeating. 2.6. That is not correct. I'm just going to make sure I didn't have my positives and negatives mixed up. I did not. It is positive, so that is not correct either. So let's hope it's D. So we have 3x minus 4y equals negative 8. We're going to find our x-intercept by setting y equal to 0. So if the y is 0, negative 4 times 0 is 0. We get 3x equals negative 8 divided by 3. All right, it's looking pretty good here. We have x equals negative 2.6 repeating. Negative 2.6 repeating. That is approximately right there. That looks great. It's a great start. Now let's find their y-intercept. So that's setting the x equal to 0. So if we set the x equal to 0, you get a negative 4y equals negative 8 divided by negative 4, and y equals 2. Y equals 2 right there. And so you get D is your answer choice. On the back, all right, looking very similar. We have x and y on the same side of the equal sign, so let's find our x-intercept. Well, and is actually asking for x-intercept and y-intercept, so we need to do that. So really you're setting your y equal to 0, which is going to eliminate the y term. So you're left with 10x equals negative 20 divided by 10. And our x-intercept is negative 2. The y-intercept, you need to eliminate the, set x equal to 0, so 10 times 0 is 0, so that's going to be eliminated, and we're left with a 4y equals negative 20 divided by 4, and we get y equals negative 5. All right, which line has an x-intercept of negative 1 and a y-intercept of 1? All right, to do this, let's look at A. A is already y equals, so this is in the form y equals mx plus b. So if the equation solved for y, I'd say the easiest thing to do is this. So our slope is negative 1. We don't have a b there, so b is really 0. So that's a y-intercept of 0. That does not make sense. So cross that out. Next one, let's do that over here. So x minus y equals 1. Find our x-intercept. Set the y equal to 0. So it's going to be x equals 1. X-intercept of -1, so that is not right. All right, next one, x minus y equals -1. Find your x-intercept. Set the y equal to 0. So y equals 0 is going to be x minus 0, which is x. So x-intercept's -1. Perfect. Now let's go and find the y-intercept. Y-intercept. So we have x is going to be 0. So it's going to be 0 minus y, which is -y. It's simplifying out the x term, equals -1. We're going to divide by -1, and we get y equals 1. And the y-intercept's 1. Perfect. There's your answer. All right, which lines have a y-intercept of 5? So this is a y-intercept of -1, so no. To get your y-intercept on each one, you set the x equal to 0, so that'd be like eliminating the x term here. So divide by -8, divide by -8, and the y is going to equal 5. Cool, that's one of them, check. And let's set the x equals to 0. Solve for y. That's going to be y equals -5. Not cool. We need +5, so not good. So that's not an answer choice. Next one, set the x equal to 0, so that eliminates the x term. Divide by -3, and the y is going to equal -5. Again, not right. Set the x equal to 0, so 2 times 0 is 0, so that eliminates the x term. Divide by -1. Not even close. Y is going to equal, the y-intercept's -10. Not going to work. Next one, set the x equal to 0 to find your y-intercept. Divide by 4, divide by 4, and y is going to equal 5. There's your other answer. So you have two answers. Top middle, bottom right. All right, graphing the linear equation below. Y equals -2. Y equals is a horizontal line. So we go on the y-axis down to -2, and it is a horizontal. Oh my gosh, that is horrible. Zoom that in a little bit. It is a horizontal line. Let's make that bigger. If you'd stop and think about other coordinates along the horizontal line, that's 3, 2. This is 0, -2. Sorry, -2. Over here is -3, -2. The thing that's in common with all of them is the y value is -2. You see the y value is -2, -2, -2. So that is why y is going to equal -2. It's the only thing that's in common with all of them. Now, a slope of a line of x equals -5, that's a vertical line. And a vertical line has no slope. It is undefined. We cannot actually find the slope for it. You cannot define it as a number. That's why it's undefined. Number 10 and 11, if you want to work that out, you can. This is not on the test. But we have y equals mx plus b. And if slope, that is your m, and we have 2 is your x, and -1 is your y. So we're going to substitute -1 in for y. The slope is 3, and this is m times x. So it's going to be -3 times 2. I'm getting the 2 and -1 from up here. And we don't know what b is. We can simplify -3 times 2 is -6 plus b, add 6, add 6. And we get 5 equals b. So we have the slope is -3, and the y-intercept is 5, which lines up with C. All right, right. Equation of a line that passes through the point. So it's the same thing. X, y, and this is your m. So we start out with y equals mx plus b. We don't know what b is. But we're going to substitute x and y in. So y is -9, x is -4, and now we have one variable left, so we can solve for it. -9 equals half of -4, so that's going to be 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. 2 times 1 in the denominator is 2. So multiply your numerators, multiply your denominators. So your b is negative 7. The only one that has a b of negative 7, the y-intercept of negative 7 is 11. All right, come to